Alright, we're going to do a very quick brief video for this week as we continue down the 12-step program, and we unpack each and every step and the process that unfolds with each step and how these processes tie into each other to lead us down a journey of finding some kind of healing and restoration. I think it's a very helpful guideline in understanding which mile markers we should be looking for and when, and for being able to understand a process that is unfolding itself as we journey through kind of recovery. So yeah, we've done up until step 7. So this week we are doing step 8 and 9, which is all about making amends. Step 8 starts with we made a list of all of those we had harmed, and we became willing to make amends to them all. And I think one can understand through our step 4 and 5 that we've developed quite a good comprehension of how much damage we've done, the extent of damage that has been done, and the amount of people that have been harmed. And again, I think it's crucial that we highlight there's a wonderful word in step 8 that says we became willing to make amends, which is another attitude of recovery. It doesn't say that we're going to make amends specifically to all of them, but it does say that we should be willing at least to begin to make amends to all the people that we have harmed. You know, this willingness to make amends to all these people is actually just showing a heart condition that is devoid of blame and resentment and hostility. It's taking back power through responsibility and ownership of the part we've played in creating damage. Often we're very unwilling to forgive. We're often very unwilling to let people off the hook. We often live in a place where it's everybody else's fault. And when we've done step 4 and 5, we begin to see that actually probably 90% of these people, we had a major part to play in the breakdown of the relationship. Our addiction had a major part to play in the breakdown of the relationship, and our delusional worldview built on denial and defense mechanisms stopped us from seeing the damage that we were doing. So this willingness to make amends to all the people that we have harmed is an important posture for us to take on in this journey. When we also look at that word amends, quite simply, to mend something is to fix what was broken. And so when we understand amends in recovery, this is not a matter of just saying sorry. This is a matter of comprehending the depth of the brokenness and the damage, so that we know what needs to be done in order to fix it. So yeah, I think it's one of those things where we get to step 8 and we really take a good hard look at this list of people that we have harmed. We take a good hard look at understanding the depth of the damage that we have caused, and we become willing, despite all our negative emotions, despite everything, to make amends and to go and fix what we had a hand in breaking. So once we get to that depth of damage, we realize that sorry isn't going to fix anything. A simple "I'm sorry, please forgive me" is not going to mend the brokenness. It's not going to make up for the trail of destruction. And so I think, just to make this clear, many addicts within the 12-step program get this step very wrong, and it gets misused often as a way to fix our own personal guilt. When addicts come to apologize and say they're sorry and they realize what they did, what we're looking for with that apology is a sense of forgiveness. Because this sense of forgiveness is then going to alleviate me, the addict, from guilt, and it's going to make me, the addict, feel better. And hopefully through this journey, we've come from a place of moving out of self-centeredness, and we've come to a place of understanding the needs of other people. And so often the people we've hurt the most, if we had to go and say sorry, almost feel obliged to forgive us. They almost feel obliged to help us in our own journey. They feel obliged to give us a free pass. So we've got to be mindful as addicts working this program that we do not put our own need for recovery above the actual emotional needs of other people, and that we're truly willing to repair the damage rather than just take an ownership of "I'm sorry, please forgive me," because that's not fixing anything. The apology is a start, but the real change is in behavior. The real change is knowing that we have to pay back in kind. The real change is knowing that we have to start to live a life that, one, doesn't continue to damage people, but more importantly starts to repair the damage previously done. And I think what's important for us as recovering addicts to know is that this amends has to cost us something. It has to cost us time and energy and resource. It has to come at a cost to us. And that's an important factor that allows us to determine the depth of the amends that we're willing to make. If we go back to step 6 and 7, what makes those steps so important is that we do really have to come to a place of understanding our defects of character, of understanding our shortcomings, of going through a process of getting rid of those things in order that we may become a person capable of living a life that isn't damaging others anymore. And as we start to develop a new self in recovery, this new self stops causing damage, but more importantly starts repairing. It goes from self-serving to serving others. If we go really deep, the very people that we've done the most damage, which is normally our closest family members and friends and partners, the damage that we have done and that our addiction has done is extensive, extreme, and life-altering. It's not just one incident. It's continuous chaos and disappointment and hurt and despair and trauma. It's disruption in people's lives. It's the change of normality. It's the disruption of their spiritual beliefs. It's the ruining of their own identity and worth and esteem. It's the destruction of the financial stability of the people. Like, when we look at the damage that's done, this amends is going to take us a very long time. And so the amends becomes a lifestyle that is ongoing. It's a lifestyle that acknowledges that we have a debt to pay. It's a lifestyle that acknowledges that we can no longer take. It's a lifestyle that acknowledges that we have to pay back to the people and society that we stole from for so many years. It's an acknowledgement of the debt we owe to the peoples whose lives we impacted and caused lifelong changes in. And yeah, when we're living in that mentality, when we're living in that realm of serving in order to pay back the debt, we struggle to then go back into self-centeredness. So step 9 says something that allows us to protect people. It says, we made direct amends to people except when to do so would injure them or others. And again, you see the willingness of attitude, the attitude of willingness to do the amends is important. But what's more important is step 9 is the assessment of the motivation and the intention of the person doing the amends. Because there are certain people in our lives who have moved on. There are certain people in our lives who have been traumatized by us and our addiction. There are certain people in our lives that have gone on to rebuild themselves and walk away from our destruction. And the selfishness of us as recovering addicts to now go and chase these people down, to try and make amends in order to alleviate ourselves of guilt, which really is honestly just going to re-traumatize certain people or put them in a position of having to sacrifice their own emotions and resentments in order to be kind and caring and forgiving to us. And so we look specifically past romantic relationships, things we shouldn't go near, past friendships with certain people, specifically the ones stuck in addiction, we shouldn't go near. Like, we've got to be mindful that we're not re-engaging people for the sake of our own well-being. It's always got to be done that it's going to improve the other person's life, not make us feel better about ourselves. Some of our damage goes back many years, in fact decades. Some people are not interested in re-engaging with us at all. Like, even certain siblings are not really interested in our desire to make amends. They want to carry on with their life, you carry on with your life, and if it works out, great. If it doesn't, no problems. Like, siblings are often the people that aren't really interested in the amends. They're not going to let their sibling off the hook that quickly, and they're not interested in this alleviating guilt and forgiveness. And so we've got to know what our limitations are in terms of the ability to make direct amends, and making sure that it doesn't impact negatively the people we are trying to fix. And if we're truly honest, when we look at that list of step 8, we realize that about 80% of our list cannot be amended. It just cannot be repaired. The people are out of our life. We cannot go back and fix it. And so we're left with this large void, this large burden of not being able to fix the damage that was done. And so we then go into indirect amends. We then go into saying, if I can't fix directly with these people, that I'm going to live a life in indirect amends. I'm going to pay back society. I'm going to help strangers. I'm going to make sure that I am repairing those around me rather than damaging them, rather than breaking them. I'm going to make sure that I do what I can to pay back this debt, even if it can't be paid back to the direct person. Like, our life, my life, the life of recovery understands that we've been so self-centered for so long that we no longer have the entitlement to continue serving self. When we truly comprehend the damage that has been caused, we can't go back into a self-serving mentality. And so it automatically becomes an entire lifestyle of amends, built on that humility from step 7, built on gratitude, which is the willingness to pay back in kind, built on honesty and open-mindedness, built on surrender, built on peace, built on joy, built on serving others at the cost of self. Like, this lifestyle becomes one of repairing the damage that our addiction caused. And yeah, it goes hand in hand with 6 and 7. It goes hand in hand with step 10, where we know we're going to make mistakes. We're not going to be perfect, but when we make mistakes, we're going to promptly admit it. You know, it goes hand in hand with step 11 and 12, which we'll get to next week. Like, it's really driving a process towards a life that is going to have meaning, because it builds and it doesn't break. So yeah, see you guys on Thursday. Thank you for watching, and we're almost finished with this series. One more week and then we can jump on to the next couple of topics.